Hello, thank you for tuning in to this week's reads. For the main part of the reads, I'm using the Star Tarot by Kathy McLeland. Here's the front of the box. And in case you want to see the spelling for Kathy McLeland, there's the spelling. There's the website. There's also a website, kathymcleland.com. Feel free to freeze frame and check that out if you're interested. Supportive Oracle cards, a deck I really enjoy. You Are Clairvoyant Oracle cards by Belinda Grace. Illustrations by Elaine Marzin. This one is rockpoolpublishing.com.au. A as in apple, U as an umbrella. And I use dice. The dice I use are standard, well, not really standard, but like they're number dice. I got a 1 through 22 for the major arcana. I substitute 22 for 0 for the Fool. And then I have a 1 through 14 for the minor arcana, and then I have a 4-sided dice to choose the element that's going to match up with that. They are from, I think it says mathartfun.com. I can't read it on the camera, but hopefully you can see it if you want to see where to get those dice. Check stuff out. Feel free. All right. Of course, if you'd like a reading from me, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com. This is James, the number 4, astral@gmail.com. If you're interested in the donation information, same email. The information for that is below. And now, let's go on to your reading. Hello, Scorpio. Thank you very much for tuning in to this week's read. These readings are valid for whenever you come to them. That being said, what do we have for Scorpio? Your card popped out. Thing about the death card, when it pops out in a Scorpio reading, it depends like what else is going on here. That's interesting. What are we dealing with? That's a great question. Something feels very contrary to me. I keep feeling like I don't know how I got here. It feels like one of those moments, kind of like I'm here where I am, and I'm just like, I mean, I know I made the choices to get here, but like I'm looking back and it's kind of a blur. It's kind of like I did what I had to do, and if I really think about it, I'm like, all right, I know I made choices for certain reasons. I don't doubt that, but like wherever I am, I'm just kind of like, well, here I am. I feel like I'm cringing to say this, but like, am I stuck? I don't know if I'm stuck as much as kind of like, I don't know how I got here, but I know how I got here. Like, I understand that I made choices to get me here, but I don't remember why I made certain choices. It's kind of like at this moment, I'm not really remembering why I made certain choices. It's kind of like when, after you break up with somebody, you're like, I don't remember what I really found so interesting about them. But apparently I did. It's kind of feeling like that energy. Ace of Wands. And the Empress is out of balance. The Empress is out of balance. And it's kind of like, I keep looking at this card. This is like the 5 of Cups. But when I look at it quickly, it looks like the 2 of Cups. It's not. But like, if you look at it fast and you're not really paying attention, that kind of looks like the 2 of Cups. And you're like, why do we have that robed figure there? But then you realize, oh wait, it's the 5. So it's kind of like, it's almost like, I feel like I've been happy with something, but if I really take a closer look at it, like, not really, actually, though. I've been going along like I've been happy with it, and I've been telling myself I'm happy with it, but if I really look at it, I'm like, not really, though. Like, not really. And this is that moment that can be very strong for a Scorpio, kind of like, you know what, now that I'm really thinking about it, I don't really think I want this. And it's going to creep in with a small thought, kind of like, you know what, I really don't think I want this. And when that moment happens, that's where everything's going to change. Can I pick these cards up, or am I... Okay. Ace of Wands shows up and the personal transformation, kind of like, you know what, I don't think I want this. And it just seems to me that Scorpio naturally goes through this change every now and then where it's kind of like once you admit to yourself what is real and what's not, or what you do want and what you don't want, you just naturally start gravitating towards things. And before you know it, you've already started the process of change. All right, so this seems to be just where things are going because the passion is there. Kind of like once you acknowledge, like, you know what, I actually don't want this. So now what do I need to do? And I feel you just kind of like looking at this, checking this out. What would that take? What would this be? If it's a relationship thing, it's kind of like, it's not like the relationship is bad. It's just kind of like having that moment like, I just don't want this. And it's kind of like, oh, I don't know. I guess I just don't want this. And it's just like, I'm not overthinking it. And I'm like, oh, you know, I've had friends who've gotten divorced and it was peaceful. I wonder. And then all of a sudden I'm talking to those friends and like, how much did your divorce cost? This, that. And then before I know it, I'm like talking to a divorce lawyer and just like, well, I just want an estimate. I just want an idea. I don't know if I want to go through with it. I just want to know what it would be like. Then next thing you know, you've sent out the papers and this situation just kind of takes a life of its own. And whatever's going on here, it starts with just getting to that first point of accepting, like, you know what, I don't really want this. Doesn't have to be a relationship. I know we're going down that road. This could be a job thing very easily too. Kind of like you're at this position, maybe maybe you've been here for a while, but you're like, you know what, it's not like, whatever reason, I'm just like, you know what, I act like I want this. I thought I wanted it. And now that I'm here, and I'm really being honest with myself, I don't want this. This is your card. Change is coming, and this is what you want. The trick is to take it slowly. I don't know if that's right. What is the trick? Like, okay, so that's the way we want to go. We got to heal from this. We got to step back and really think about how we got where we got. We don't need the details, but I feel like what they're saying is like, you're going to change this situation. It's going to happen. That's fine. But it's like, instead of like finding the next thing that I want, they're saying we need to kind of do a self-audit. How did we end up where we are? Because there's gonna be the urge to kind of like, all right, this isn't working. What do I want? And going in that direction. Ironically, they're saying this time it's not gonna work because you're gonna end up in a cycle. What they're advising is like, don't go towards this. Don't go towards the next great job, the next great relationship, the whatever. Don't center yourself. Maybe you're leaving a relationship, but you're like, you know what? Maybe I'm gonna do something else. Like, I'm not even gonna center on relationships. I'm gonna start fixing bicycles, just to make it simple, obscure. I'm going to start fixing bicycles. I'm going to start fixing motorcycles. I'm going to start my own home repair, whatever you're going to do. It's kind of like, instead of doing a relationship thing, I'm going to center on something else I like that is not even related. Maybe you're just making that decision. They're saying that's not the way to go with this. Pull back. And before you step across the next threshold, because it will happen sooner enough. It's not like this period won't last that long. But if you step back and think about what's going on here, and you kind of like look back at like what created this situation, how, like, when I'm looking at like where I am and how I got here, I'm not gonna know that. I feel like I don't need the details, but I'm like, all right, if I look back, I wanted that, and if I look back, okay, I wanted that, and if I look back, I see where I wanted that, and I look back and I see where I thought that was a good idea. And if I kind of remember, I kind of think that was the reason why this, and that was the reason why that. I think, it's not that big a deal. But it's kind of like when I look back and I kind of trace it back to like how I got where I am, not super detailed, but just like in a roundabout way, like, yeah, I see where like I knew this person and I met this person and I thought that was a good idea and this was going on. I see where I got where I am. And I feel like you're going to have this moment like, and that's the point where I should have slowed down. Or that's the point where I should have kind of like went a different direction. Or it's kind of like, I feel like I'm looking back and I'm like, and that was the point where I really should have kind of paid a little bit more attention to this. Or I should have looked a little bit deeper into that. there's going to be this moment where you're like, yeah, if I had just kind of like, I knew at that point that this may not be for me, but I kept going forward anyway, and I just put it out of my mind. But I kind of knew this might not be for me, and I went forward anyway. And just kind of like holding on to that moment, not in the sense of like, I wish I did, not that type of way, but in the kind of like, you know what? I need to kind of honor my own inner voice a little stronger. I need to kind of listen to myself a little better. When I have that moment, and I'm like, this may not be for me, I need to kind of step back and kind of like explore that feeling. Why might this not be for me? That way I don't end up in this type of moment again, or at least not at this level, if that makes sense. There's a moment here that you can create a whole new future for yourself that is a different, like it resonates differently. It could be a level up. I don't know if there's a better way to put this, because I keep seeing cars, and I feel like I have a nice car, it's fine. But it's kind of like leveling up from like, well, I thought I was happy with cars, and now I drive SUVs because I feel safer with them, and I can go different places. I feel safer on the road. I feel like I can travel into like snowier areas, for example, and I can have, as long as I have the right tires, blah, 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 blah. Like I'm upgrading all that stuff. And it's kind of like I can upgrade to a thing where I didn't think that was for me, but like now that I'm looking back, the situation can upgrade to a different level that I wasn't really thinking before. There's healing with this. There's pain with this, with the Three of Swords. I don't think of Scorpio as shying away from the pain. Scorpio seems to just address it, kind of like it's there. What is it? Let me get into it. Let me get into it. Let me dig it out. Let me work it through, and let me heal it and move on from it. This is what this is going to be by looking backwards and looking at, like, I keep thinking I have this moment where I'm like, you know what, that was the moment that I was thinking maybe this isn't for me, and I just kind of shut it down and kept going forward like it doesn't matter, and I just kept going. And now I need to listen to my inner voice a little better. I heard my inner voice, but I shut it down and I moved past it. I'm a Pisces, water sign, but not Scorpio, obviously. But I feel like water signs do this. I feel like sometimes we hear that inner voice, and we're just like, nah, and we just keep going. And I feel like this is one of those moments where you can like, and I knew it, and I should have listened to it, but I didn't think of it at the time. But like, not in the sense of like beating yourself down, just kind of like, you know what, I need to strengthen my resolve to that. I need to start strengthening when I hear this, when I feel this, I need to listen to it. I need to research that a little bit more for my own feelings. Who knows why? For some of you, it might be somebody else that kind of like told you were being too critical, or you were asking for things you shouldn't want, or something like that. Somebody else might have like pushed you away from listening to your inner voice. It could have been something like that. And it might be like, you know what? I need to remember not to listen to those people. Let them have their opinion, walk away, and then return to my thoughts and do what I need to do for me, or whatever that may be. I feel like there's an involvement here for that. So that way you can go into this new situation and you can be a lot happier with your outcome, because something else will show up. It will. But it's kind of like stall it out for right now. Let's do a self-audit. Let's look back at like where you didn't listen to your inner voice. Because I feel like there's a point there where it's kind of like, well, I heard it. Wasn't that listening to it? Well, I heard it, but I didn't really honor it. Is kind of what I'm feeling here. Kind of like I knew it was there, but I was like, it's not that big a deal. And I just kept going past it. As a Pisces, which is not a Scorpio, I know that. But when I was younger, I used to like have these inklings with people. Like I would meet people and I'd be like, oh, I don't like this one. And then I would be like, don't be that one. Like I don't want to be that person that judges people like that. Like, and I would tell myself, give people a chance, blah, 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 blah. Meanwhile, 3 or 4 months later, as I'm digging the knife out of my back, I learned after a while, like, you know what, James, maybe you should listen to that voice. Doesn't mean you have to be mean to people, but maybe just kind of keep your guard up, or like pay a little closer attention. What is this about? Whatever is leaving your life, by the way, something is leaving your life. That end is an end. I feel like they want to prepare you for that too as part of this reading. That end is an end. So if this is a relationship and you're moving on, once the door's closed, like it's boom, it's like closed. It's probably not going to be, they're going to go like cut you right off. They're going to be like, don't know you, don't want to know you. If this is a job situation, again, once the door's closed, nothing. Like, make sure you get what you need out of it before you leave it. That's, I think, what this message is. Because once it's shut, the door's shut. And they're just going to kind of move on like you don't exist, and they don't want to know you. Even if you have, for example, this is a relationship, even if you have children with this person, they're literally going to act like you don't exist. Like, they're not going to acknowledge your existence any more than they actually have to. Just keep that in mind. I feel like you can roll with that as long as you see it coming and prepare yourself for it. Because I feel like that's where this is going. Also, that's like another level of this situation that they kind of want that out there. Like, they're going to be like, don't know Scorpio, don't want to know Scorpio, Scorpio who? They're going to play that game. Which, that's their version of healing. That's their version of healing is what I'm getting. As long as you see it happening, I feel like you can prepare, you'll be all right. Are we good? All right, I'm going to shut this down here. Thank you for watching. If you'd like a direct reading from me, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com. That's James the number 4, astral@gmail.com. If you're interested in the donation information, that's below, same email. Thank you very much for watching, and have a great day.